Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studios for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, fan listeners, I am your host, Adam, and I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. First of all, glad to hear and see that you are safe. Did you lose any power over the weekend?
No, not really. No, there was a couple flickers, but that's about it. I guess the same can't be said for many people. That was quite the storm, and there's still people on the island without power. There's still people in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland without power, and it's just that was some of the pictures and some of the videos. Just
like you see it in Jamaica and Bermuda and all these other countries, you're like, wow, like that's crazy what water can do. And then when you see it basically in your backyard in Shediac or even Port aux Basques, Newfoundland, where Stroh is from, like is that whole 4 or 5 houses just going into the water. Like water is so undefeated and can do so much damage. It's like I said, we didn't even have any flickers of power. The Flyers game I thought would be canceled for sure is basically the rest of hockey in the Maritimes was canceled, but Fredericton made it home okay, I guess. I mean, it wasn't too bad Friday night. It was more rain inland, but then overnight, some of the videos from Shediac at like 4 a.m. of water just crashing, and Layla's like, she always wants to buy a house in the water. Let's buy a house in the water. We don't need a summer home and a winter home. Like, if we want this home, let's just buy it. And then after the storm, she's like, or maybe we just stay more inland. And I'm like, I think that would probably be a good plan. But it just, water is undefeated. Like, it was crazy to see the amount of devastation.
And it's going to take years for these some of these areas to build up again. And it's you can't houses can be replaced, and lives cannot. And I know there's three deaths, one in PEI, one in Nova Scotia, one in Newfoundland, and it's tough. Yeah, you're right, because you see the stuff and in the Caribbean and up the coast, you just never expect something like that forceful, right? It's we usually get the tail ends of hurricanes, but it's it's a tropical storm or this and that. Well, this was still going at 160. 170
category 3
kilometers an hour, and just devastation everywhere. I couldn't believe it. Some of these pictures and videos, like it's eye-opening. It's you just never want to wish that upon anybody. And there's another one coming up the coast, Florida and Cuba. I think it's Hurricane Ian. And so we're this is the time of the year. This is hurricane season, so hopefully this one is not so powerful, but it is supposed to hit Florida and Cuba pretty hard. So let's
the Bucks are at home, and even this week they were asking, the media was asking right after the loss on Sunday, like, do you have plans in place if there's a hurt, like what you're going to do for practice, what you're going to do for the games. They're supposed to play Sunday night. They might not play Sunday night. It might be a Saturday. It might be moved somewhere, but it's hurricane season, and hopefully, people can slowly rebuild. I mean, you can replace a house, you can replace things in your house, but as long as most people are safe, and obviously our hearts go out to the 3 that were lost and their families, but just shout out to everyone that's helped. And I know it's cool to have videos, but sometimes just stay out of everyone's way and let them get the job done. I mean, I don't want to transition from that, but it's that time of year, man. Not only hockey starting, but Masked Singer kicked off. The Amazing Race kicked off. Not even the Canadian one. Did you watch the Amazing Race yet?
Sorry,
no worries.
Not the American one. No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
Water went down the wrong hole.
So you didn't watch the American one yet?
Not yet.
Oh man,
I'm still I'm so behind on recorded shows right now.
No worries.
The wife and I got into Apple TV.
Yep.
So we discovered the morning show I know you.
So good.
You guys have binged that one, and so we're just we just finished season 1 last night, so we're gonna get into season 2. So we want to get through that, and then we'll start, picking up on some of these shows. Okay. I'll get to it.
All right. Well, I was hoping you watched it because I want to tell you about episode 1 and how they changed it. Episode 1 a little bit because it was kind of a cool idea, but I will wait till you get there.
Okay. Next week we'll have it.
All right. Masked Singer kicked off. We're not going to go through everyone. There was only 4. Harp, Hedgehog, Hummingbird, and Knight. The Knight you knew right away was William Shatner. Mm-hmm. I kind of figured out. I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. I know that voice from somewhere. Layla saw it. Spoiler alert. So she's like, "Do you want me to just tell you?" And I'm like, "Yep." So that was William Shatner. The Hedgehog I figured was British. I thought maybe it was Ringo Starr. That's who I had. It was Eric Idle. So the Harp moved on. So basically they had 4. One was the King and Queen, so they're moving on. They're going to reveal the Hummingbird after tonight when you hear this. So the Hummingbird, it's in sports is in their DNA. They know Shaq. They had a cleat, soccer, football. They had 2 Super Bowl rings. The scoreboard said 7-1-0. I didn't know what that meant. But 2 Super Bowl rings, I'm going to go with Eli Manning.
7-1-0?
Yeah, it was 71-0. So I'm going to go with it's not Tom Brady, and I know it's not Tom Brady.
What's the area code for 7-1-0?
I have no idea.
Nothing.
I know it's not Tom Brady because my personal Twitter didn't blow up with the amount of Bucks media and fans that I follow. But the 2 Super Bowl rings, I'm going to go. It's a football player of some sort. I'm going to go with Eli Manning. I think it was Ken that said it looked like Peyton Manning, so that could be a throw off, but I'm going to go with Eli Manning.
The voice to me sounds like Patrick Mahomes.
Cool. That'd be a good one.
It's kind of got that.
He's only got 1 Super Bowl, though.
I know, but
courtesy of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. There was 2 rings, you said, right?
Yeah. One of the people had a ring on each finger. Now it might not be football, it might be basketball, but there was a cleat, so I assumed it was Super Bowl, so that's why I went Eli Manning.
To me, it sounded like Patrick Mahomes because people say he sounds like Kermit the Frog sometimes, and I kind of picked up a Kermit-ish voice. Okay. So I don't know if that's just me or not, but it could be Tom Brady, it could be Peyton Manning, it could be Patrick Mahomes, or for all we know, it could be a Backstreet Boy. It's these week 1
could be Nick Carter. Yeah, Nick Carter's a fan of the Bucs who have 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah. So that could make it's not his voice though.
It's only week 1, so it's tough to pick up on these clues right now. But yeah, William Shatner was easy. Eric Idle I've never heard of.
No.
And that's what's the other one? The
other one was Harp. And so
I don't know this one at all.
The biggest show category was a lead in something. There was a witch hat, which led me to Wicked. 3D, so I think Wicked was in 3D in theaters, but it is one of the bigger Broadway ones. And then the question that they were asked was what's your favorite award? And actor, music, comedy, award winning. And now literally Idina Menzel. I was like, I'm drawing on the blank. She made her fame in Wicked. She was in Frozen. She was in Glee. Mm-hmm. So that's who I have. But I think she's got the voice, and we haven't seen the rest of them that have a chance to go to the final.
Very, very good voice. I think, you're probably going to see this one go very far in the competition. I picked up on the American Idol clues. Glee, I wouldn't know anything about, but that's...
You didn't watch Glee?
No. Is it good?
I thought so.
Okay. I'll look in. Again, it's a show that's probably been on TV for 10 years.
That's over now, but something like that. But yeah, another episode comes out tonight. It is our favorite part of the show, so it is one of our favorite shows for this show because I think some of you like it, and if not, you can fast forward. But let's get into it. We got a guest tonight. So before we do, don't forget, as always, you can follow us on social medias: Twitter, Moncton Wildcast; Instagram, Wildcast Podcast; TikTok by the same name, Wildcast Podcast; and on YouTube. Last week was a bit of a glitch as the video would not upload for me no matter what I did, so I do apologize for that. But don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. The quick question, the cue kicked off, sir. What is your biggest surprise? Because mine early on is Baie-Comeau being 2-0, laying a thumping 7-1 to Rimouski, and then getting a 3-2 victory. So mine would probably be Baie-Comeau being 2-0. And then obviously Justin Poirier with the hat trick there. So that would be kind of my biggest surprise in weekend one. It's kind of tough when none of the Maritime teams got playing, but that would, there was one Maritime game. But that'd be my biggest takeaway. What's yours?
I would have to agree. That was, two wins, and, for them to be, tied for the league. I know it's early, but tied for the league lead right now. It's kind of, they're leading the Eastern Conference, tied with Quebec. So, Quebec winning 2 games is not much of a surprise. Sherbrooke winning 2 games, not much of a surprise. Gatineau to get 1 point, probably disappointing, but considering they're down, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys,
and now Mannix Landry's out for a couple of weeks. Like
that's 10 to 12 weeks for Mannix Landry. That's a 4-month injury. That's a extremely tough break. They're going to be, it's funny to say this because they're going to be without Antonin Ferreau for a while, Mannix Landry for a while. Who else? Do they have another one? Nadeau. Yeah. So, these guys are going to be out probably till Christmas.
Yeah.
And if Gatineau can do decent enough, that's like getting 3 superstar players for absolutely nothing. Because that's going to be, they're going to be adding 3 players at Christmas time that they didn't have in the first half. So if they can get off to a decent start and they get those 3 guys in their lineup for the second half, like, watch out. That's those are 3 huge acquisitions.
Trying to find it, but there was with the Mannix Landry injury. That's one of their 20-year-olds. So I think it was Martin Leahy who was talking about adding a 20-year-old, kind of a cheaper goaltender, which is a Chad Arsenault who can get you wins. What helps them is the fact that they're in the West Division with Rouyn-Noranda, Val-d'Or, Blainville, so they can kind of tread water and add those 3 players plus add one of the top goaltenders at the deadline. Yeah, like if there's a team that can kind of withstand it in a division that they should run away with, it's probably Gatineau. But yeah, that's never good when you have all the expectations and 11 players at the NHL level and then 3 major injuries to 3 very good players.
Yeah, they're I think it's pretty. They're lucky to be playing in the division they are.
Yeah,
because they can easily get off to a really strong start, take advantage of their opponents, and then just go on a tear in the second half once they have a full healthy roster.
Yep.
So I think it was you picked them to.
I picked them after acquiring goaltender to go to the final.
Yeah, good choice.
That's where I'm going with.
Yeah.
Got lucky we should win again last year, so let's go again with this one. Maybe that's the guy we should get on is Martin Leahy. Talk about the Gatineau situation. All right, let's get to some news and notes.
News and notes from around the queue.
Some good news coming out of the, I'm guessing, QHL press conference or league meeting or whatever it was. They are going back to the 4 of 7 best of 7 series instead of the best of 5. I kind of wondered if maybe that first round they'd go best of 5 and then continue best of 7, but thankfully they're going back to best of 7 all the way around. And the other bit of good news, I mean, there was others, but from Michael Alancet, the league is working on a face-to-face draft in June 2023, but it is not confirmed yet. And what did you message that we should have retweeted with that with?
When we talk, the people listen.
Absolutely. I don't know. I don't really care where it is. We'll probably go. Hopefully it's a little bit closer so that it's a little easier on the travel, like up the road here from the studio right into the Avenir Center. But I don't care where it is. Let's just have it back to and let's in person, and I don't even care if we got to pay for it.
No, I would go to St. John. I would go to Halifax. I would go to Charlottetown.
The only ones we'll have probably not be able to go to is Val-d'Or or Rouyn-Noranda.
Yeah, that may be tough. That'd be a tough trip.
Yeah.
Even Gatineau's a little far.
Yeah, but depending on the weekend, you get the draft during the day. You get a nice red-black Stampeders game if we're lucky enough for that, and
you get the casino.
And away we go. It's a weekend away. Helmet ads are here in the Maritimes. The Titan have the Pure and Simple logo. The Mooseheads have the Scotiabank logo. I don't think we've heard from St. John. I would imagine if they did, it would be TD. Cape Breton and Moncton don't have any yet, but obviously we haven't seen them play yet, so we have no idea. Vancouver Giants, they're going to host the 2023 Top Prospects game January 25th. Got to believe Etienne Morin makes the journey out west, and like I said to you, is he the only one, or do we see maybe Thomas Auger?
It's going to depend, I guess, on his first half. If he can get onto the Central Scouting rankings, there's a possibility, but for right now, let's just pencil in Morin, and we'll start there.
Loshing's too old for that, eh?
Yes. Yeah, it would only be...
He would have been last year, right?
Yeah, it would be...
Because he is an 04, but he's the late 04, I think.
You're looking at Lounsbury, Morin, Auger, Mueller?
Mueller's an 04, yeah.
Yeah, late 04, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's eligible.
Yeah, Loshing's a February 04.
So I think it's anything after September 15th.
Okay.
That would be... Yeah, so I think those are the only 4 that would qualify. Yeah, so obviously Morin for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the others, it's going to depend on the first half, but I think Morin's pretty much a guarantee, barring injury or whatever. But
right.
I think I like his chances.
And lucky for him, when he goes there, it's on a Wednesday, so he's got 2 days off, and then St. John Cape Breton at home, so he won't be making the crazy midnight red-eye trip back to play 3 games in 4 nights like Barbashev did last year. What else we got here? So we, obviously off the top, we talked about the hurricane. The Islanders seem to have hit the hardest with the power in the arena. The pictures came out with the ice looking pretty gray as the ice started to melt, like any freezer would. Mm-hmm. They're working hard to restore it, but I do believe their next game, where was that schedule, is the 8th. They were supposed to play St. John this weekend. Don't really see that happening, but they were supposed to open this weekend, but the 8th, but I don't even know where they'd practice.
The Islanders?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends where it was hit.
Pownell. I mean, if these places have power, I mean, maybe they can get a trip over here.
Coliseum's open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the best situation, but not a bad home rink for your club.
Summerside's still in the island. Yeah, it's going to be tough. There might be some more postponements. I mean, we've already seen the game tonight, and Cape Breton's already been postponed,
mm-hmm.
right? So that's that was surprising, but also kind of expected because these places are going to be probably waiting a week or so, possibly more, for power to be restored, and so I think right now they're just taking the precautions to make sure that everything's back up and running before they get any crowds or any games in. Just postpone them, and it's still early in the season. There's plenty of time to reschedule them.
I was just trying to see if they had the next scheduled Islanders home game from the Eastlink Center Twitter account is scheduled October 8th against the Mooseheads. So hopefully they can get that back up and running. But like we said, I mean, everyone's okay over there with the rink. Nothing happened, and hopefully they can kind of figure something out and get back to playing hockey. What else we got? The Wildcats are going to be on tsn.ca this season. It's supposed to be 3 times, but obviously the first game was canceled last Friday, so it's now 2, Sunday, November 27th, which is Teddy Bear Toss. Wildcats came out with a theme night in the season ticket booklet, so they take on the Mooseheads in the Teddy Bear Toss game, and then Friday, December 16th against Bathurst. Like I said to Briar up in Bathurst, I'm assuming the Wildcats are getting 3 on tsn.ca so they can kind of gauge the arena for the World Juniors. We don't usually, I think we got 1 last year, but I got to believe with 3 before the World Juniors, this is a chance for them to look at the arena, get all the views, angles, because, I mean, we have one of the best webcasts because they basically just take that feed, but that would be my guess.
Yeah, it's a pretty good assumption. The fact that there's 3 Wildcats games, I mean, they can't seriously think we're a contender, can they? I mean, if I'm
Heck
if I'm in, if I was in Vegas right now, I definitely wouldn't be betting on the Wildcats.
Hey,
to win.
LaRue isn't back yet.
No, that's true.
But I mean, players are certainly filtering back slowly, but
LaRue
isn't back yet.
Is a topper end prospect.
Yeah,
he'd be one of those ones. He's probably going to start the season with Nashville and see where that goes. I mean,
those points.
It's yeah. I just there's no reason to send him back this early.
No,
Barbashev is I mean, obviously. Iasenza was free agents to Colorado. He's back. It's only the top end players will stay longer in a camp.
Yep, and I'm not saying that because of any actual we want him to stay up there, but you did mention if there's a chance for the Wildcats to take the division, it's if LaRue doesn't come back to Halifax and they lose both LaRue and NYA that would be tough. No assets coming back and trading those, which you usually want to trade those for picks in your rebuild. That would be tough for them to swallow. The QMJHL team of the week, we mentioned him a little bit earlier, Justin Poirier, 2 games played, 3 goals plus 2. Felix Lessert from Shawinigan, 2 games, 5 assists. Xavier Saracen, no relation?
Don't think so.
Okay. To Mannix? I don't think there's any relation there.
Felix Lassert's a 16-year-old, though, so that's pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
This is a team of the week or just rookies?
Team of the week.
Wow, so two rookies in the first, 2 16-year-old rookies on the forwards. Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive.
5 assists isn't too bad in 2 games.
Yeah.
Xavier Saracen from Blainville, 2 goals, 2 assists in 2 games. Christophe Renaud from Sherbrooke, 1 goal, 3 assists, 2 games played. Edward Cornier, Rwanda, 1 goal, 3 assists in the 2 games. And William Rousseau for the Rempar, 2 wins, 1 shutout, a 5 goals against average, and a .981 save percentage. Not a big deal. And he did end up being the QMJHL player of the week for the Rempar. So not too bad. Let's get into the weekly rewind.
Weekly rewind.
And that has been your weekly rewind.
Yeah. Obviously, you just mentioned it there. Wildcats get a couple reinforcements back, and Barbashev and Iasenza from the Rangers and Avs rookie camp, which is ultimately good news because now we get to a full goal roster. Everyone's back. Everyone's healthy for the opening weekend, which we can kind of get into a small preview here. Sea Dogs, the Titan, who both played this weekend. St. John getting the victory over Bathurst. Bathurst will have Jan Bednar back. He was sent back from the Red Wings. So I don't know if I'm putting much stock into the weekend, but I mean, you should be better than both of these teams on paper just with the rebuild and the cycle. But again, it's the first weekend. We'll just have to see how they play. It's opening night in St. John. Banner raising, of course, against Moncton, who I think you said everyone does it. Bathurst did it.
It's just starting to be a tradition now. Yeah, it's just
I have to go back and see if Halifax did it.
Yeah, Moncton. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Moncton. It's just the ultimate, face wash right now is following Halifax's Memorial Cup. I'm pretty sure their banner raising was against Moncton. The same for Bathurst, and now we've got St. John's. So it's the scheduling gods don't seem to like us here, so we have to sit through that. But as I'm gonna point it out here just because I know the new Q Review podcast,
the new Q Review podcast.
Also,
they got kicked off.
Also pointed it out. What's his Twitter handle? There he is. As Wildcast podcast superfan Dave McKnight pointed out. If I can only find it here. Where was it? Oh, yes. The Sea Dogs banner raising for all of 5 postseason victories. The Memorial Cup banner raising for all of 5 postseason victories will be something special to watch at the TD station.
Yeah. And you are correct. The Mooseheads opened up they went to Bathurst and went to Charlottetown. They opened up banner raising night at Scotiabank Centre against Moncton. But Moncton went in there and got a 3-0 victory on goals from Eric Legier, Will Smith, and Christopher Lalonde, and Alex DeBow had the shutout. And if I do remember...
Will Smith. Will Smith,
yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I remember that guy.
Lalonde had a 3-point night, 2 assists and a goal. He was the second star. DeBow was the first star, and Kevin Ressup of Halifax was the third star. Connor Garland had an assist that night.
Eric Legier.
Bring you back, does it?
Oh, my. Eric Legier. We got him from, I think, Baie-Comeau.
Oh, really?
I can't remember the trade, though. But,
Bathurst.
Wow. Yeah, that's bringing back some Will Smith.
And then Bathurst opened up their banner-raising night against Moncton, and Moncton got a 3-1 victory.
So we are
2-0 in banner-raising nights.
Okay, let's go.
And that was brought to you by Dylan Seitz, Tristan Dion, and Mika Sear with the goals in that one. Elliot Dunaway got his first.
Oh, weren't we at the cheers for that?
We were at the cheers with Chris. Yep.
Okay, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was when we didn't think we didn't think any goals were ever going to be scored.
Yeah.
No, it was 1-0 for the longest time, wasn't it? Then Moncton got 3 goals
it was 0-0 until it was Seats. Seitz got it midway through the third.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So they scored 3 goals.
Bathurst was up 1-0. Keenan McIsaac scored, and then Moncton waited till basically 12 minutes left or 8 minutes left in the third period.
Yeah.
And then got 3 goals in 4 or 6 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah. I knew we beat them up in Bathurst, but I didn't know that they actually played the Memorial Cup banner raising night. So 2-0 in Memorial Cup raising banner nights.
Keep the streak alive.
Got to keep the streak alive, but that'll be interesting to see if that streak does continue to happen. But that's really what are your thoughts this weekend? I think we see Philly on both.
I'm gonna say one thing. I don't think we see Philly on in both because I looked ahead of the schedule, and after these 2 games they go on the road, and the first one's in Shawinigan. So I don't think they want him playing 3 in a row.
Right.
Obviously they're going to give him the Shawinigan game because that's his hometown.
Yep.
But.
Oh yeah, Shawinigan, Sherbrooke, Drummondville. Yeah.
So I think maybe they go.
Same as last year.
Stuyman game 1, Philly on for the home opener. No, because
I don't actually hate if they go 3 in a row.
No, I don't either.
If
I don't want to give
if he is the guy, giving him 3 right out the gate
because it's not. I guess it's not 3 in.
No, it would be Saturday, Sunday, Friday, and then Stuyman would play probably Sherbrooke, and then Philly would play Drummond.
Okay.
I don't actually mind that.
I don't mind that. Okay, yeah.
Because last year they went Couture in
as long as Stuyman gets one of the first 5 games.
Yeah.
Right, because you're.
But then you. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, well, then which one? St. John, Bathurst, Shawinigan, Sherbrooke, Drummondville. You gonna throw him in against Sherbrooke, which is
well,
you know what I mean. Shawinigan's kind of the rebuild, so that's where you're. But it's his hometown.
You're not gonna not start Philly on in Shawinigan.
No, considering how well
one of his best games was last year in Shawinigan. So you probably want to go. Okay, let's give Philly on both games this weekend. Give them Shawinigan, and I have nothing wrong with giving Stuyman to Sherbrooke. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yep, and then Philly, and then then whoever for Drummondville, we would likely say that it'd be Philly on, so he'd get 4 of the first 5. Mm-hmm. But 4 of the first 5 are on the road, so not always easy for a team to go on the road. But at least they get this road trip out of the way. The big one is Blainville, Rouyn-Noranda, and Val-d'Or. They get that one out of the way in November.
That's fun.
And then they got February is the Gatineau, Victoriaville, Quebec one, followed by St. John, Bathurst, Charlottetown, which is the big one. But those are the 3 road trips, which, if you're going to do that big one in Rouyn-Noranda and Val-d'Or, it's probably good to get it out of the way in November, where generally the snow isn't quite there.
Yeah. Let's give Bernie... Actually, probably could be 50 centimeters of snow in Val-d'Or by November, for crying out loud.
That's true.
But yeah, I like that November trip. Get the 24-hour trip out of the way early.
Yep, I think they did that last year too. Just one quick note: theme nights this year. Had the graphic up. So Saturday the 15th is Pink in the Rink. Then the Halloween game is October 30th. Remembrance Day is November 11th. The Teddy Bear Toss, like I mentioned earlier, is November 27th. The Food Depot is Sunday, December 4th, which I would guess is probably also Skate with the Cats because that's the final Sunday game before the trade period. And then Timbits Weekend is back, January 28th, 29th. Friday, Jeremy's going to be loaded. St. Patrick's Day game, March 17th. And then Fan Appreciation is March 25th. So, like I said, there's not a lot of hockey to recap when you're doing a weekly rewind show when the teams haven't played, but obviously safety is paramount. So they do get kicked off this weekend against, like we said, St. John in Memorial Cup banner raising night number 3 and against Bathurst, so at home. You ready for our guest there, sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
View from the other bench.
All right, making his podcast debut on our show. I guess that we've kind of wanted to have on for a while. I remember I was on just one of his quick little videos at the Scotiabank Center during the Wildcats Mooseheads playoff run. He is the host of QMJHL on Eastlink as well. Basically, anywhere in the Maritimes you find local sports, he's usually there to cover it. He does do New Japan Wrestling. The one, the only, Mavs Gillis. Mavs, how is your summer going? And thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me first and foremost. Summer was really good. Loaded up with some time out and vacation, so I had a lot of beach and a lot of golf. And when I say a lot of golf, I am going to refer to it with the qualifier. I have a 9-holer. I like getting out and playing 9 holes and getting out my day. 18's a bit too much, but the putting was good. And summer was good, and we went from summer right into the eye of the hurricane this weekend. So we escaped a bit of the wrath here in Halifax, where I'm at. I know some of my friends are still without power, but I know back home in Cape Breton, it's a bit of a different story, and across PEI and Newfoundland, it's a bit messy as well. So hopefully everyone gets back on their feet soon. But how'd you guys survive it?
I didn't lose power at all. Jeremy had a little bit of flickering, but nothing major here, which was, Shediac took a brunt of it, but we obviously stayed with power. So, we can't really complain, and we're pretty fortunate up here. Big golf guys. So are we going to see maybe a Mavs Corey Arsenault charity golf match on the old social medias or what?
It would have to be on social media because it couldn't be on TV with the amount of swearing I do on the course. Yeah, we'll have to do it on social media for sure.
We'll let them know, see if we can set that up.
I'm down. I'm down anytime. I know I wanted to get out with the Eagles this summer because I hear he's great. And you know what? It is wild. I did get to play 18 with Billy Burns this summer, and Bill is a former head coach of the Capers a long time ago with basketball. But as a golfer, I don't know, he's won numerous club championships. So I'm going to say scratch, if not -1, maybe a 1 handicap. And being out there and watching a guy who's actually, being on the course with a guy who actually is good at the game and plays it the way it's meant to be played. Like when they say 4 as the par, that's objectively he's gonna get a 3. So watching that style of golf compared to the amount of hacking I've done in my life and over this summer was something to behold. So you got a whole new appreciation for someone who can effortlessly play the game.
Well, Mavs, we're coming up to a 4-year anniversary to what you described as one of the more memorable interviews you've ever done in your life, and that was with Dave Matthews when he was with a member of the Cape Breton West Islanders. When you did that interview, Mavs, did you expect it to go as viral as it did?
Do you want to know the truth? I did. And I'll tell you why I can make that claim is because before the interview, I said to Dave, we're about to go live. I said, Dave, are you okay with being on Bar Down, Barstool, and having one of those style interviews? And he looked at me and said, yeah, okay, what do you got in mind? I said, just follow my lead because I know I knew he was familiar with. There's a band called the Dave Matthews Band, but didn't really know the catalog. So it kind of was just a wink and a nod. Like if he said to me that he wasn't comfortable with that or really didn't, I was like, I don't know. No, I would have dropped the whole gimmick right there because it is Dave. He still is. He still is a teenager. Although I saw him with a bear that he killed on his Instagram, which was pretty wild. But that was just again. When you're interviewing teenagers, you do have that fine line of okay, we're gonna have some fun here, and that's. But yeah, I had a sense that if the right people that are Dave Matthews fans saw that, it would go quite far. I think Starzomski is a massive Dave Matthews fan. It's either him or Todd, and it's been down there for. I've seen Dave 28 times, and they'll always bring up the Dave Matthews interview. So, and even when I was calling his games in Moncton, when I got an opportunity, when I got to slide one in there, it's I'm sliding in reference. But yeah, no, I tell you. The fact that Dave was able to do that, the hockey interview with Dave was so well done. He was, he didn't realize any of the references I was making, but man, he answered those questions extremely well.
That's an interview you need to not redo, but try and rehash with some updated references. See if he still catches on or whatnot. Now that he's with Moncton, but. Being one of the better interviews that you've ever had there, just kind of tell us how you got into getting into the hockey world and Eastlink TV and, being one of the better interviews, if you will, in the queue.
So it started back, if you want to go way, way back, when I was 3, I watched the Raccoons on Ice. And 3 or 4, and that's when I was informed that Danny Galvin was a distant cousin of mine because he was doing the voice of the sportscaster and that. So that was always kind of cool to know, hey, this guy's a sportscaster and he's related to me, and it was kind of always in the view of where I want to do and what I want to go for. So at CBU, UCCB, I was announcing basketball there, and through my years at working with the athletic department, that turned into me doing a bit more work with the AUS when I moved to Halifax, which turned into me working for the Rainmen, which turned into me being a play-by-play guy, doing basketball and all kinds of sports with sportstream.ca, which turned into me saying, Jesus, I really should go back to school for radio and TV arts and make this thing official. So I went back. Actually, it was 10 years this month that I went back to NSCC, did the 2-year radio TV art program. And while in radio TV arts, the sports community here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, they had a good idea of who I was. And thankfully, Eastlink, they called me up for a couple games. And next thing you know, Alex Hayter went from Eastlink to work global mornings weather, opened up a spot with Eastlink in the middle of the Mooseheads Mem Cup run, and I slid in there at that point, and I've been with Eastlink ever since. So it's been a really good ride with covering local sports. That's kind of how it started. And again, I tell the story about hopping on the bench for the first time and going to ask Mike Kelly a question, and Mike Kelly with the St. John Sea Dogs, who were horrendous at the time, just trying to get out of the season, just trying to get off, playing against the Memorial Cup, the team that was going to win the Memorial Cup, the Halifax Mooseheads, maybe one of the best teams in CHL history, and they're down 2-0, 6 minutes into the game, and out comes the kid who's done nothing but basketball his whole life to ask him about, hey, why are your players taking so many penalties? It wasn't quite like that question, but it's along that vein. To which he hit me with a pretty gruff response. And for some reason, I thought, well, that wasn't long enough. I should get a follow-up with this coach. He hits me with an even gruffer response, and I run off the bench. That's his camera's stuck on his face, and he mouths the words, "Go F yourself," as I'm walking away. It was that was my baptism by fire into the world of hockey. So I love it. I told him that story at a golf tournament years later, and we all had a good laugh at it. It's a fantastic story. That's welcome to hockey, kid. Be ready for it.
Wow, that is baptism by fire.
What are the chances of you getting us one of those Eastlink TV towels for the studio?
A million times, yes. The towels. I'm notorious for going into the truck, grabbing a couple towels, and giving them to the kids, or giving them to whoever's requesting a towel. I'm usually the guy that goes into the truck and will fulfill that obligation. And I think for your set, getting the Eastlink QMJHL Friday Night Hockey towel, I think I got to send one up to Moncton. Although I think we're in Moncton. I think we're there in November, but so make sure we get you an Eastlink towel that by then at least.
Did you mean like just get the towel, or get on TV and wrap it around our shoulders and get the Mavs interview?
Now we're talking about that.
Right? Like, we don't just want it. We got to earn that with the interview.
I mean, I've had the boys from the High Button. I've had Justin from the High Button on, so it only makes sense to have the Wildcast on in Moncton. Absolutely. If I'm up there, we're doing it.
If I ever get that opportunity, I'll channel my inner Canadian Tire commercial. Everybody's contributing, all lines are firing. It feels great. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought you were gonna throw out the if only we had a guy like what was the kid's name from that Canadian Tire commercial? Do you remember that one?
Sergei Puckazin?
What?
Is it Sergei Puckazin?
No. It's the is it Albert? Everyone always just passes over Albert, and all of a sudden he's the greatest hockey player ever. There's on the bench. If only we had a player like Albert. Someone in the comments is going to send that in, or it's going to pop into my head magically in 20 minutes.
Beauty. You let us know the game you're there, and we'll definitely get our tickets and be there. But I guess just before we started this, New Japan, you're obviously a big wrestling guy. We have Pat on, we've had Aiden on a little bit talking wrestling, but how does a guy from Halifax and doing the Q and Eastlink TV get over to New Japan Wrestling, and just talk about what that atmosphere is like? I mean, I've never honestly watched New Japan Wrestling. I've only ever watched the big media, WWE and a little bit of WCW, but just what's New Japan Wrestling like?
New Japan Professional Wrestling is a fantastic atmosphere. It is a different atmosphere than you would get from the North American professional wrestling scene, where I know the fans will love to chant, "This is awesome," over everything. Or if you're familiar with Stone Cold and the what, finishing off every promo, although there's not a lot of promos in there. In Japan, you'll see a lot of the fans clapping along to the beat of the theme songs, and being very respectful when the wrestlers make their entrance, and when they're allowed to get back to making the noise. Right now, they're still clap only. I think a couple of cards lately they've been able to actually scream and make noise because the COVID thing's kind of going away. But you would just hear them yell out, like, Suzuki! You just hear that. You would hear them, just occasionally you'd hear yells of a wrestler's name. That was their way of supporting the wrestler. But if a big spot happened, you would hear the ho, 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 ho. That's how you would get the reaction in Japan. It's not a constant roar like you would have in North America. It's a much different fan experience with New Japan and just Japanese professional wrestling in general. But like that one, I was over visiting my girlfriend in Japan, and then I went to a couple shows, met the president, and sent him an email on LinkedIn. Literally just a email with my tape and throwing a Hail Mary. And sure, a couple of weeks go by. As I'm walking to my gate to head back to Canada, my phone vibrates, and it's a response from him saying, "Hi, I like your tape. I'm going to California, but let's talk when I get back, and we'll see what we can do to make something happen." And off the races, called a couple matches in Halifax, put something together for a tape. And I said, "We like it. We want you to come to Tokyo. Call some matches." So right now, I know, let's just say it, October 11th, I'll finally be able to get back into the country after 2.5 years. Seeing what opportunities are opened up for me for, past that date, October 11th, though, the country opens up again for the first time in 2.5 years. And it's been, hopefully we'll get ourselves back over there. I've got an open-ended ticket to Japan. I'll say that right now, because of some messed upness with Lufthansa and Air Canada. And I booked for this summer to go because I figured, heck, by July, the country will be open. It's off by a couple months, but here we are in October, and we'll see what happens there. But I mean, I've got to see what goes on with Eastlink and what goes on with Japan. I know I got a trip there maybe in January to go see some stuff, but right now the commitment's at Eastlink, but there's a big time goal to get back to Japan doing wrestling as well. It's an interesting timeline I'm living in right now.
That's what, man, you're like living the dream. Like I would never even think of sending a tape of my voice or this podcast to like Sportsnet or TSN to get our
You
own
don't?
No.
Oh, we've been there before.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not leaving Moncton.
No, that's crazy, man. Like, what's I guess what's it's wrestling, right? It's pro wrestling. But
yeah.
Is what's comparing New Japan to over here? Like, what's atmosphere wise? Like, is it what is there any difference? Like, I
mean, to crowd wise, it's a different atmosphere, because I think the crowd in North America are going to, sometimes try to make themselves the fourth member of the match, where in Japan, that doesn't happen. But again, they are very passionate. They are there to support and scream for their favorites and boo the ones they don't like. I've seen a lot of great wrestling cosplays at New Japan cards. And the creativity of the fans as well is second to none. Guys will be coming in with their hair cut just like Shinsuke Nakamura, and Nakamura's not even in the territory anymore, but they'll still have those guys that come in dressed like Nakamura, and it's just a passionate fan base. And I'm just going to again throw this out there. New Japan, I love Stardom, which is the women's wrestling, the sister promotion of New Japan. I love that just as much. If that opportunity came up, I'd be on my way there as well, because they are kicking ass right now as well. So we'll see what opens up there. But yeah, no, it's Japan's an amazing time, guys. I would recommend it for anyone to go there. And as I said, October 11th, after 2.5 years, I think they closed the border on my birthday, like on my 38th or 39th birthday, April 3rd. Well, they closed the border, so happy birthday to me on that one. But yeah, that's Japan's amazing. I would strongly recommend it to anyone.
Good to know. Also good to know is our friend Pat, and you said earlier you've known him for a while. What bet happened between you and Pat 30 years ago that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so Pat and I have known each other since preschool, if you can believe that. Now, we went to Tots and Toddlers together in preschool. We went to different elementary schools. And then in grade 7, we ended up hanging out again. But it wasn't till a couple months into hanging out again that we realized, hey, we used to hang out at preschool. So that's kind of how things came together. But in that time, that early part of grade 7, we made a bet about the Bengals and the Dolphins, and the Bengals were trash. The Dolphins were really good with Dan Marino. And I made a bet with him that the Dolphins would win a Super Bowl before the Bengals won a playoff game. And
the shocking part of that is a Super Bowl to a playoff game. Like that's my favorite part.
Yeah. But what's scary is the bet went for 20 almost 30 years.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So if now we're supposed to have the game with the Eagles and the Mooseheads on Friday night. I don't honestly right now hearing some reports from Cape Breton that they might not be ready for that game just with the state of emergency and the state of Center 200. Yep. Not sure yet, just seeing some stuff. So we're supposed to go down and cover that game. And I was going to go down early to get some Eagles content, but also I was going to be able to pay off Pat because we're going to make the transaction, the $5 transaction at the junior high where we made the bet. Mademoiselle Campbell, who's the principal there, who was a French teacher back when we were kids there, has said, yeah, you guys can come on in and make the transaction for that bet by the cafeteria where you guys made it 30 years ago. So the plan was this week to go in and pay him off. And I'd be paying him off on the same day that the Bengals and the Dolphins are playing Thursday Night Football. It would be perfect. It would be, it would be written in the stars. And the other thing I'm just going to throw on this one is Ryan McDonald.
Oh, the deer.
Who did the story, the deer. Thank you, because I'm around the office calling him deer all the time. Deer was there when we made the bet as well. So for Deer to do the story on CTV and the three of us to be together on that was that for me was cherry on top, and that was extra special.
I don't know what the deer is.
The deer, just Rob McDonald's nickname for Eagles, goes back a few years.
Oh, does it?
A few
goes back to as long as that bet.
Yeah.
So yeah, the deer. I'll say deer, and folks around our office are cluing in. Oh yeah, Ryan McDonald, deer.
The crazy thing about that is just like that it was a story on CTV News, and I've said this to Layla a few times. Coming from Calgary, moving out here, you see the stories on the news, and sometimes like, well, Barb had sparrows in her backyard, and it was just it's just like the difference in the news. So to see that was pretty cool because you don't get that everywhere. Like I've got a friend that I've had pretty much since junior high, but it's not since you were kids in preschool and toddlers. So it was the fact that it was a Bengals playoff game, not AFC Championship, not a Super Bowl, a playoff game, and it took this long
and over the length of the bet, they were 0 for 9 in playoff games.
They had chances.
They had plenty of opportunities.
Yep. And it's not $5 plus inflation, right? It's actually still $5.
It's actually still $5. Thank God. And I'm looking for the I haven't been able to find an early 90s $5 bill. That would have been really a nice touch to it, but I haven't been able to find one around to make the payment.
I guess one more for me. Your time, obviously, at Eastlink, it's still going, but you worked with one of the glass-shattering women in the QMJHL, in Kenzie Lalonde. She called the Flyers championship game there at the TELUS Cup. She's over doing Women's Worlds. She's kind of all over TSN. Just speak to how she's had this meteoric rise and what you saw in her that you had no doubt she was going to smash some glass ceilings.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what? When Kenzie came into the territory, like we're looking at, she's coming in after having some experience at Mount Allison and doing some U Sport stuff. And she had done, I think she volunteered with us once or twice while at Mount Allison. So to bring her in and to help her along in hosting, play-by-play, producing, all of these little aspects of broadcasting. And, I've been in a situation where I've been trying to impart some wisdom and trying to just give a push the right direction and trying, just coaching, if you will. Mm-hmm. And there have been a lot of times I've been doing it, and you know what? 5 minutes into the session, I should have just stopped. Said, this person does not have it. They don't have it. I could tell Kenzie had it. She has that ability to go through the lens and make the connection on the other side. I've seen that from her in her hosting and in her play-by-play, and to see her rise through here, because, I mean, you know, the opportunity to go with Women's Worlds and just keep continuing and moving on has been fantastic to be part of, help her and witness her go after her goals and achieve them. I know we were hanging out last week. It's, you know, she's getting herself ready for this year. So we'll be seeing her soon somewhere. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and you know, I'm one of her biggest fans in helping her move on.
We're gonna let you go here in a couple minutes there, Mavs, but it wouldn't be an interview if we didn't ask you about the Maritimes division this season. How do you see it shaping out? Right now, I see it as a division, and this is, I mean, the Maritime division right now is Halifax's to lose. I think they, on paper, have the best squad. I think Moncton is going to be right there with them. I think the young core that they had and how many pieces they were able to keep really put them in the conversation. I would never count out a Jim Holton-led squad, especially with Frankie LaPena. Jim Holton's a coach that's able to get so much juice out of the orange, and he's able to get the most out of his players. So they're going to be tough. St. John, you know, the wheel recycles again. We'll see what happens there. Acadie Bathurst, I'm not quite sure what to make of Acadie Bathurst. I know they lost a lot. I know Gordy Dwyer's going to have, you know, he's got some good pieces there to work with. So we'll see what happens with Acadie Bathurst. I think they're going to be a top level team. And then we get the Cape Breton, who've, you know, a good core, a defense. Ivan should be back. New coach, new general manager, and I hate, you know, I've been hearing it a lot. Well, it can't be any worse than last year. It's like, yeah, no shit, they were not good last year. So I think you're going to see very good strides from the Cape Breton Eagles this year. But right now, I think for the Maritime division, I think it's Halifax's to lose. And I know if QMJHL Trump is listening to this now, he's going to say, there it is, Magic Man Mavs Gillis, just being a propagandist for the propaganda Mooseheads. But we'll see what happens. Like, I think Halifax has got a nice roster there, and we'll see what happens out of this Maritime division. Oh Jesus!
Oh yeah. I think QMJHL Trump.
You didn't expect an impression of the Trump dog, now did you?
No, definitely not.
But that's what we've come to expect, is the unexpected with you, sir.
This is the big brother of podcasts. Here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for doing this. You are now a friend of the show. You've been christened on here. I mean, No Hockey allowed us to have this full-on, great interview with you, and just allowed you to get to know the Mavs, and man, we really appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us.
Thanks, guys. And again, like this year is, say, around here and around the Maritimes, I think it's so important to get out and really make what you guys are doing in Moncton, what we see other groups doing in their local communities right now and covering local sports is more valuable than ever. I don't want to cast aspersions upon some other media outlets, but let's just say local sports has not been given the due it is deserved in our region, or, you know what, I'll just throw it out, or in this country. So I think it's so important to get out there and tell them the stories and building profiles of not just teams, but the leagues that we cover as well. Because there's some great entertainment, there's some great stories, and there's some great kids out there playing a plethora of sports. And if we could shine the light on them, let's do it.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Mavs, thanks for joining us tonight. And hopefully we'll make our Eastlink debut with the towels around our shoulders and give you a standard hockey interview sometime this year. But if not, we'll have you on definitely around the trade deadline and more this season.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you. And that's, I guess, one of the benefits of not having hockey this week is we get a pure interview like that from one of the best in the business and a guy we've wanted on the show for quite a while in Mavs. I think the New Japan thing is probably the coolest thing, that he just randomly sent out an email and showed up.
Yeah, I actually plan on. I'm going to send an email after this and see about getting onto Sports Quarantine TV, because apparently you're the only one that gets to do that show. Do
you want to do that show?
If it's on a night where it's not past my bedtime.
What's your bedtime?
I'm almost falling asleep right now, and it's 10 after 8.
Yeah. I think I'd send an email and see if you can get on that.
Yeah, it'd be good. Or what's that one with Craig Eagle? Sports Inclusive.
Sports Inclusive?
Yeah.
On Rogers TV.
Or is Across the Line still on there?
Across the Line's still on there,
Chris Corey? Yeah, that'd be a good show, too. But, no. Or, give me on one of these local shows. Put my face on TV.
Perfect. Just don't go anywhere. Keep coming back here week after week.
I wouldn't leave you.
Oh, thank God. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode. I want to send a huge thank you again to everyone helping to get the Maritimes back on their feet. Again, stay out of their way. I know everybody wants the picture for clicks, but just stay out of their way. Let them get the job done. So to everyone in Nova Scotia Power and New Brunswick Power, PEI Power, I'm guessing it's probably
Maritime Electric.
Maritime Electric, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And all the places allowing people to. I saw one tweet. There's somebody made their Wi-Fi free and put a electric cord out to bring power bars, charge your stuff if you need it. Again, it's maritime hospitality. So, good luck to everyone getting back on their feet. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later as well. Thanks to friend of the show, Mavs Gillis, for joining us tonight. One of the better interviews we've done. It's always good to get to talk to other people in other markets and there's people we haven't talked to before, and that's what we're trying to do, is just bring on guests week after week, and for you, the fan listeners. Don't forget, the home opener is this Sunday versus the Titan. You can head to Ticketmaster to get your tickets. Few tickets left, limited tickets available. Get them now, ish.
I can understand.
But if you don't want to pay for them, you can always try to win them, and we sure love giving tickets away. So our Instagram this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because you can only have it for 24 hours. We'll have the question 3 straight days. Please answer, as many times as you can. I'll put it in a roll, a randomizer, and we'll give 2 tickets away. We may have an autographed item, but right now we're just going to give 2 tickets away to the home opener. Mr. Boucher, what is the question?
It's not my autograph, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Could be. Especially if you get on the Rogers TV.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Pretty easy question this week, because we want to get as many butts in the seats for the game Sunday. What is Anthony Hamel's nickname? That's all we need to know. What is Anthony Hamel's nickname? And I guess bonus prize if you can tell us what type of car he drives.
Cool. A bonus entry. That's always fun.
As long as it's the same vehicle he had during his time as a member of the Charlottetown Islanders.
And hopefully we can find that out. But yeah, again, what is his nickname? Stay tuned to our Instagram. I'm literally going to post a question and put up the little comment. So you just type your comment. You don't have to hit us up on the DMs. Let's get as many people as we can into this contest. And hopefully fill the rink. This Sunday at 4 o'clock, the Titan, the Circus is in town. The Circus being... Well, hopefully not the Wildcats on the ice. Hopefully the fun. In and around $25,000, 50-50 guaranteed.
Let's try to win that one.
Yeah, I know you're going to be there. So, which good luck to everyone else competing against this guy to win his second 50-50. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.